Let's get into first talking about the NHL Lake Tahoe. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see I have two hockey jerseys behind me. One, my favorite team, the beautiful Chicago Blackhawks red jersey behind me. Obviously, you got the nice C on there for Jonathan Toews, no one else. And then to the other side of me, I got the nice, I think it was Stadium Series in Washington, Toronto Maple Leafs 2018 white jersey with the white logo on it. Absolutely phenomenal jersey there. Nothing beats it. I'm a casual hockey fan. That's the disclaimer of this little segment that I'm going to do talking about the NHL here, because I don't talk about the NHL a lot. I love NHL jerseys. I think NHL has some of the best jerseys in the league. I'd collect way more of them if they were cheaper, because I know the Adidas ones are a load to pay for. Like, they make a dent in your bank account, because like if you want to buy a named one full price, $250, like $250. Now I got that Leafs one for $100, and I think I got the Blackhawks one for like $160. So I got good deals on both of those, but I have not paid full price for an NHL jersey, and I don't think I will. There's no other NHL Adidas jerseys that I need right now. But what I want to talk about this whole Lake Tahoe thing in the NHL is why the NHL needs more outdoor games and games like this. And I'm going to go through my explanation of why. I'm going to go through my explanation of why. That's basically what I'm going to talk about. Why the NHL needs more of these games, because I enjoyed it. Look at me. I'm from Toronto. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I said it. I'm a massive football fan. Massive football fan. I love baseball. And then I like basketball and hockey. There are two sports that I watch. I have my favorite team. I'm a Chicago Blackhawks fan, and I'm a Chicago Bulls fan. But sometimes you're going to have to really pique my interest to be able to watch the sports on a very consistent basis. I haven't watched a lot of hockey yet this year at all. Like, I'm going to be honest. I haven't really watched any Blackhawks games, and I haven't really watched any Leafs games. I'm busy with school and everything, and it just doesn't really pique my interest here right now for the NHL. It's not worth my time right now to be putting in to watch the NHL when it's a league that I don't enjoy as much as I do football. I don't enjoy it as much as I do baseball and all of that, when I have other stuff to do. Like, I just can't work it into my schedule just because I feel like watching a hockey game. I just don't care about it as much as I do as football or baseball. Bottom line. But why I mention that is because, you know what game I did find myself watching this weekend was the NHL Lake Tahoe game. I think it was the Vegas Golden Knights versus the Colorado Avalanche. Like, I'm not even sure who I was playing. Like, you put that game on. First of all, I want to say you put me in an actual hockey game, like in the arena. Hockey is one of the best sports to experience live. Hands down, it's one of the most entertaining sports to watch. But watching it on TV, especially two teams that I could honestly care less about, like the Colorado Avalanche and the Vegas Golden Knights, I'm basically, if I'm going to watch a hockey game, it has to be the Blackhawks or the Leafs, or I could care less. I could honestly care less. I don't care who's playing, like the players you have. If it's not the Leafs or the Blackhawks, I could care less about the game. I really could. I could have cared less about who was going to win this game, who the players were on the ice. You could have put a Timbits hockey team out on the ice in this game, and I still would have watched it. Why would I have watched it? Because it was the Lake Tahoe special. It was something different. It was an outdoor game. And me personally, someone who loves these stadiums and where the teams play and everything, and really looking at what appeals to me about the stadiums and where they play and everything like that, this is something that the NHL needs to do way more often. Because you got a fan like me who wouldn't care otherwise about the Colorado Avalanche and the Vegas Golden Knights. I just wouldn't care about them. If this game was on regularly and they were playing at T-Mobile Arena in Vegas or a Pepsi Center in Colorado, I wouldn't even know the game was on. I wouldn't even know that they even played that game. Since you have this specialty game played in this very unique scenario, in a game where, another reason why I think that the NHL needs to do this more often, hockey was made to be played outside. You look out right now, I go walk in my local neighborhood or whatever, there are kids playing on the pond all the time. All the time, the pond is filled with kids playing hockey. That's how the sport was made. It was made to be played on ice. It's not played on a field. It's not played on a court. It's made on ice. It's played on ice, sorry. And ice is natural. Ice is something that forms outside. Hockey is something that should be played outside. It was made to be played outside, just like how football was made to be played outside and baseball was. Sports like basketball, sports like regular volleyball, not beach volleyball, sports like bowling, I don't know, I'm just naming names. Those are sports that are made to be played inside. Like, you can't play basketball outside. It just doesn't make sense because when you have like wind and everything like that, it affects the ball and everything. You can't have professional basketball outside. It just can't work. But hockey is a sport with some of the toughest guys in all of sports. Like, you look at athletes, I think football players and hockey players are by far the toughest. And that's saying, like, why I'm bringing this up is because no matter what the weather is, these guys are going to play in the weather. It could be pouring. It could be an absolute blizzard. These guys would still play and have the most fun. I bet you a bunch of these guys grew up playing hockey on the pond and everything. And it's just drawing interest of fans that otherwise would not care about the game. Even just casual fans of sports, and they see, oh, the NHL is doing a game on Lake Tahoe. Yes, it's not on the lake, but you got it in the nice mountains and everything. It's outside. The game looks amazing. The jerseys were amazing. They both got the reverse retros on. I think that was a really good call from them, and I think the Flyers and Bruins did the same thing. But just the spectacle of it and the marketing around it was something I had to tune into, even though I didn't watch the whole thing. I did not watch the whole game. I tuned into it, and they got my viewership. They did. That's something that a league like the NHL isn't the NFL. The NHL isn't the NBA right now. The NHL has a lot of struggling markets in this league. Like, you take a team like the Florida Panthers, the Arizona Coyotes, teams, those places could care less about their team, honestly. This is out of the 4 sports leagues, this is the one that is struggling the most. And when you have a league that is struggling, you got to do something to pique people's interest in the game that you are trying to provide to them. And I think games like this, I think what I'm trying to pitch here is that there needs to be, no matter what, at least each team has to play one outdoor game every single season. So you get probably the entire fan base of both of those teams watching the games, where you just have the casual fans. They don't really pay attention to the games in general. They just check the score every morning or whatever. You'd have those people tune into the game, so you have more fans there. And then just the spectacle of the game. You'll have all the fans from hockey around, and you'll have outsiders who are just people looking into the sport of hockey coming in and tuning in. The United States, where all of these teams are based mostly, and Canada, you have some of the most geographically diverse points in all of the world in these points. I'm telling you, you could have games in so many different scenarios, or whatever you want to call it, in so many different geographical, I'm sounding really smart here, using big words like geographical. I'm not a geography freak at all, but I know that you have like mountains in the States, you have the beaches in the States, you got the flatlands in the States, you got all these different things in the States that you could have so many different games in different settings, and it would just be something really, really cool to watch, and something really, really cool for you to look forward to your team doing every single season. You have all these massive stadiums around the States. I love the Winter Classic games. I love to see them go and play at these massive college stadiums like Michigan Stadium or Notre Dame Stadium, all those different places. You look down south, I think even the San Jose Sharks back in 2014, or somewhere around then. That date is probably off, but it was somewhere around then. I think San Jose held a Stadium Series game, so you can do it. You can have outdoor games in a ton of different places. Yes, it takes time. Yes, it takes money to do it. It takes extra employees. It takes extra whatever to prepare it. But this league needs it. I honestly really feel like the NHL is a league that needs the viewers right now to be able to go out and get more people interested in hockey and get more people watching your sport in general. I think that it's just something that needs to happen, and something that would be really, really good for hockey if hockey is able to have an outdoor game for each team every single year. Like something like Lake Tahoe. It doesn't have to be Lake Tahoe every year. I think I saw something on Instagram that was like, you should do Calgary and Edmonton in Banff or something like that. I would tune into that. I could care less about the Flames and Oilers. Yes, it's the Battle of Alberta. I guarantee you in Alberta, That would probably be the biggest event of the whole year there. That and the Calgary Stampede. But I'd tune into that. Those are two rival teams playing in Banff, which is one of Canada's most beautiful places in all the country. Playing outside where hockey should be played. I'd tune into that. I bet you there were a ton of people that otherwise would not tune into that who would too. So that's just my thought. That's my whole thought on this Lake Tahoe thing. It was an amazing idea, amazing execution. I heard some complaints about people saying you saw way more of the lake than the mountains in this one. Yes, you could have moved the rink a bit, but in general, I think that it was a big success. So I think the NHL, it would be a really smart move for your specific league when you're trying to compete against the big boys in the States, in the NFL, in the NBA, which the NBA you're going up against constantly because you have the same schedules. The MLB, which is coming back around, you got to do something to set yourself apart. And I think that this is your opportunity, and run with it. Run with it, run with it, run with it.